So, we go inside.
Okay. Was there any other people you were expecting?
No.
We're just phoning.
Oh,
Okay. How you doing, David?
Not too bad.
What was the name of that town that they claim to be the smallest city in Canada?
Greenwood.
Okay.
Could I get each one of you guys against the fan on the...
Yeah.
So I can hit both.
Okay.
Stand over a bit. I need to get the step by step. You need to stand that way. On each side of the sign there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Okay.
Hang around.
I don't think so.
Hey.
Nice meeting you, Joe.
Pleasure was all mine. Where you from? I grew up in Montreal. Oh, okay. So you're one of those guys that was just, and then fell in love with the community?
I lived in Montreal for 4 years.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah. I'd love to live there again, but I hate the winters.
Oh, wow. It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. Compared to out here, you never experienced the winter out here. Yeah, you should have seen how this camera jiggled when I first started using it in Alberta. It was like this.
For the cold.
20, 25? When I joined the force.
So you started last June,
Yeah, true.
and you started in Toronto,
From Toronto.
and you went east or west?
Well, we walked west. We usually reach Victoria on the 27th. And from there, we're going to home. Visit with the boat. And then from there, we're getting dropped off at St. John's, Newfoundland, and then doing the Maritimes and Quebec, and then back to Toronto.
So what do you think of this hopping all around? Like a lot of people, they go from coast to coast, right?
I know, they just
So-
want a straight line.
Yeah.
See, their campaigns are different. Like their focus is mostly on, doing the whatever it is, bicycling. This is the important thing here is about bringing this message to as many communities.
Mm-hmm.
So we put 500 cities and towns on our campaign. With the media present, the escort, we pretty well reach a lot of people in that community with this message, and as a result, we've got a good chance of encouraging a lot of people to come on with us.
Right.
And as a result, I don't know, it's strange. So
when do you anticipate being finished? Like
July 27th, 2002.
2002.
Yeah.
Okay. So you start in the morning and you're finished at night?
Well, no, I do about 20 to 25 kilometers, and then we hold the press conference, and then sometimes we get around to the churches, shopping malls, we distribute the cards from there, schools, we get around the community, and then we get started, for the next community after that. Basically.
So and Greyhound's part of your sponsor?
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah. They helping us with fares and other things, parcels and things like that. Because I've gone through like 6 road crews already. I've had lots of people that are,
Right.
and sometimes I have to either bring them or send them, or and like there's a lot of money involved with transportation.
How many pairs of shoes have you gone through so
This is
far?
my 3rd pair.
3rd pair?
Yeah, those ones did 2,000 kilometers.
Oh wow, right?
Yeah, just burned them out. And, actually, the MP, Betty Hidden, gave me these.
Oh,
when,
right.
Yeah, when we reached Kamloops, right?
Right.
Kamloops, and she would.
So you're going to do a book after?
I don't know, David wants to do something like that. He's pretty good at writing, so we'll let David do it. He's getting first-hand experience.
You've written before?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I have even my own story to tell, which this
Yeah.
is part of it.
Right? Yeah.
I don't know how I do it. I mean, by rights, well, it's kind of funny to say we shouldn't do it, but in a sense, it's true. You know, it's only a freak of time, or it's the timing that's allowed us to.
See, you know what's amazing about all
still
this?
be here.
Okay, like I had 2 days left to live in this Western Hospital. Now, somebody has to pass away. You know, like that's the only way that something like this is going to happen. So, a lot of times, the families were vetoing that decision, even though the individual made it, because they were approached at a very difficult time.
Yeah.
And they couldn't say yes. So a lot of people. Now, this particular family, who I don't know who they are, I don't know, you know, were approached, and they said yes. So, I mean, it could have been just as easy as they said no, and I wouldn't have been around, and 5 other people wouldn't have been around. Like, it was one, you know, one word. So, like, that's amazing. Now, what we needed to do first was change that system, not to approach the family, because that's the worst time to make a decision is that you know, and all these lives that are dependent. So BC developed the perfect model. They got a registry, and the decision is legal binding here. So you don't have to approach the family. You know, you're and you know, you're making this. You're signing that donor card in your right state of mind. You thought about it, and yeah, it's a good idea. So you know, it gets carried out with the way BC has it. Now we need the rest of the country to follow the BC's model.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what part of our campaign is doing too. We want to develop this national registry.
Right.
You know, and modeled after BC, and you know, we've been saying that right from the beginning. So, yeah.
Good, yeah. Have you met your recipient?
No, but
No.
I'm going to try this summer. I've never really thought of it before. I mean, I've thought a great deal about the whole process, but I've never. I guess I'm just waiting for the right time.
Right.
You know, so this may be the right time, just simply because this is when I
Meet
decided
them?
to
Did
do
you?
it.
He can't meet them.
Well, you
can go on a list,
Yeah.
can't you?
Yeah,
And they can
you can meet them.
contact and see. And
Yeah.
Through letters.
No, you can actually meet them if both parties are amenable.
No, that's not passed yet.
No, I know people that have met their.
Then they're doing it against the law.
Well, no, it's the
Yeah.
BC Transplant
That-
Society that has allowed them to meet.
In BC?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have they developed that?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, they're way ahead. That okay then.
But
That's
it's
what
still,
the rest of the country.
it's
See,
still,
we can't do that in Ontario.
it's still too difficult though, because if one party says no, then the whole deal is off.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
makes sense. That's good.
Yeah.
So how long ago did you have your transplant?
I had it almost 6 years.
6 years. So do you take?
You want me to take that
So
right?
let's yeah. He's okay, but you didn't want to say it. Chat for mayor here.
Meanwhile, the camera went.
And they all came with their stories and how they got affected, you know. But you know, and like I've seen that so many times already. But it was David's first time, and it's very overwhelming to get to hear all the you know, person on the waiting list like thanking us to death for what we're doing, you know, and recipients for understanding why we're doing it, you know, and donor families. It's helping to connect their because they always think about the recipient, you know, and then they're seeing us do what we're doing. So, like, there was a lot of emotion that was displayed during those 2 days, and you know, you absorbed every little bit of it, you know. And
It's good energy.
It's really good energy. So, it's hard to say which one stands out.
Just to give you an example of that day in particular, we had one guy, 40 years old, who was waiting to go on the list. Then we had one guy, 29 years old, who was on the list, both for livers. Then we had a 4.5-year-old little boy who'd had a liver transplant at 6 months. Then we had a woman who came in, and just to give you an example of that day in particular, we had one guy, 40 years old, who was waiting to go on the list. Then we had one guy, 29 years old, who was on the list, both for livers. Then we had a 4.5-year-old little boy who'd had a liver transplant at 6 months. Then we had a woman who came in and she had lost her son. I told you this already, didn't I?
Yeah.
No, I thought I did. She lost her 16-year-old son in a car accident and had had all his organs donated, and she was starting to hear back from the families. Then we had another woman who had lost her nephew, or no, her nephew had been transplanted at 5 years old. He was now 16. He had a kidney transplant, and now he needed a kidney and a liver. You know. Then we had that woman who came and her the one in Kelowna, and what was her story? Anyway, so those are the kinds of stories. And because of the media coverage, these people know where we are, you know, and that's the important thing, is that we get that coverage so that people can find us. Otherwise, we go through a community and they don't find us, and then you hear about us. And we quite often hear about people after the fact. They say, "Oh, I know somebody down the road where you've already been, who's, you know, and we missed them." You know, but on the other hand, we get people who are know somebody that where we haven't gone yet, and so we can link up with them. So it works really well that way.
Well, it's worthwhile cause.
Yeah, here's another way of putting it. We calculated that there was going to be over 25 million steps to take this. And every step that's taken is to acknowledge the heroic act of becoming an organ donor, you know, because that's what it is. It's you're a hero. You know, when you become you're a hero, because you're automatically stating that you want to save somebody's life. So that you know, that makes you a hero. And
other people's lives.
And every step that I'm taking and David's taking, we want to acknowledge that. You know, we want to acknowledge that to people. We want to let them know, and that's really what it's all about. You know, this whole thing.
Yeah. Did you see the thing in the news of that lady that her son, 7-year-old, was there in a car accident?
Yep.
And she's in tears, and
Yeah,
she's
and
like,
she's still saying,
how good it is, and it's like, that, you know, the poor lady that has to go through that. You
I know, I saw
but,
her on TV this
yeah.
morning, I think it was.
Yeah, it's pretty emotional.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the benefits afterwards are tremendous, because you know, with BC, that I just came to my attention now that they have this option now that you can meet possibly the family and the family committee. You know, that just makes so much sense, because the things can feel, there can be.
It is, and then they feel like you're a part of them, and they get to see what's done.
Yeah.
Right.
So
that it actually helps them.
looking from a recipient now, you know, one time I lost my wallet, and this is before I received, you know, my transplant, and it had everything in there, and somebody returned it to me, and I thought I owed them my life, you know,
Yeah.
because, and so, I mean, I thought that was the most ultimate thing somebody can do. So now just think, you know, my funeral was planned and everything, and someone made that decision, and I'm around because of that decision. So just think what a recipient feels like to be around, you know, how they feel about the family, you know. So, you know, this what we're doing here, I think, should have been a priority in our country a long time ago, you know, but we're just starting to get a, you know, a handle on it.
Well, it's only been in the last 10 years that liver transplants have been successful. Now the rate is about 95%. And it's been because of the anti-rejection drugs more than the surgery itself. And the surgery itself has been, you know, well, this is an example. I had a doctor that I was fighting with. This guy was a gastroenterologist, and he said that he didn't want me to have a liver transplant if I had taken his advice, I would not be here today. And they're not, I mean, it's not voodoo medicine. And it's a very appropriate term because that's what a lot of people think. They do. They think that, well, what would be my chances anyway? So why bother? Why bother even thinking about being a donor when if I do give my organs, the person who is going to receive them is likely going to not survive. So trying to dispel that.
You have the religious aspects too, though, right? Like they want everyone for the person to be buried with everything because, when they get reincarnated or go on or whatever, then they're lose.
But they're not.
I know,
Nobody
but
gets
to
buried.
do that you got a lot of religious ideas out there that's hard to break too.
The Jehovah's Witnesses, it's an individual choice with them, and it's more to do with blood. They can't have blood transfusions because of the literal translation of the Bible.
Right.
And but as far as organs go, it's they're pretty good about it. I talked to a guy yesterday about that actually, who's a Jehovah's Witness, and the Pope has now endorsed organ donation. So there's 1 billion people in the world who can accept
that's
that.
going to be a neat experience, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Are you,
Better be on
you
the road.
nervous?
You gotta stay on the road crew.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
I gotta try and go there for clean plate. I don't want to take up my time confessing to it.
Yeah, lots of Hail Marys.
Anyway,
All right, here we are in Clinton, and this is a restaurant. All right, here we are in Clinton, and this is a restaurant called the Wolf's Pride. Yep, this is Clinton. This is Clinton. Hey, George. Looks like this place looks like a lot of places I've seen in the Southwest. Girlfriend Judy, sure.
What we'll do is have George try and guess what it is.
Oh, gosh.
Where are we?
Oh, it's just over here.
Give it to George. He can try and figure out what that is.
It's a shell, I think.
Well,
Okay.
you're not
Halfway?
far off, but it's not a shell.
Oh, okay. It's part of a turtle thing? No?
No.
Okay. It's pretty heavy. This is the weight, the original weight?
Yeah.
I know what it is.
You know what it is already?
I think so. I may be wrong, but
Take a guess.
it's a skull.
No. No. But again, you're close. It's a whale's eardrum.
Wow.
Okay.
Isn't that cool?
Whale's
Yeah.
eardrum. Wow. Would have never guessed.
Here, I'll show you an interesting feature on it.
Whale's eardrum, folks, right there.
Never
You've seen it
guessed
right
that.
here at the Wolf's Cry Inn in Clinton, BC.
Let me show you an interesting feature on it, though.
Wow.
If you hold it that way,
You gotta hold it right, though. Looks like
Oh, it looks like a face.
and you take a look at the nose,
Richard
Yeah.
it wouldn't look like Richard Nixon, would
W.C.
it?
Fields.
Or W.C. Fields, too, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Or Richard Nixon. Yeah. Or Bob Hope. Not quite.
Not quite. From here, you gotta see Bob Hope, but in here,
Yeah, that's what it is.
Well,
that is neat. Now, how